Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode number 11, baby. Guys, we got a special treat for you guys. We have, oh my God, it's Gman here with us tonight, guys, and I'm super excited to have him here. I'm super excited. You guys know what we do. We roll the clip. Let's get this bad boy started, baby. Well, hello, everybody. Welcome in. My name is Neo Prime 12. I am your guys' host tonight. Welcome into number 11 with the episode of Drinks with Neo. Guys, we have featuring today, we have, oh my God, it's G-Man in here with us today. So hello, Mr. G-Man. How you doing tonight?
Yeah, I'm all good. How are you?
I'm good. So, as always, we like to start out every episode with the cheers. I know from the accent, it's super late from where you are. I don't know if you have anything to drink, but I do personally, as it is drinks with me, obviously. So I do enjoy a little bit of a drink. It is only 8 o'clock here, so it's not too late. I'm actually drinking myself a lovely homemade margarita. So
very nice.
I do love me a margarita. I don't know if you have anything. If you have anything, you can let us know.
I've got some juice.
Juice, I love it. So hey, let's start this off the right way, man. We always started off with the cheers. So cheers to me, cheers to you. Let's have some fun, man.
Cheers.
Yeah,
let's do it.
So let's kind of like jump into it. Let's get to know you a little bit first before we start talking about your story. And I'm always fascinated by people from another country and stuff like that. My cultures and everything like that. So by the accent, you're British. What part of England are you from? And tell us a little bit about where you grew up, because I'm very interested in. I've been to England twice. I've been to Manchester myself, and I've been to London. So,
nice.
And also been to Nottingham. It's 3 places.
Yep. Nice.
So.
Nice. Yeah. So I grew up in like Greater London, so it's like suburban sort of London.
Okay.
So quite on the outskirts. So yeah. And now I live just outside of London in Essex.
Okay.
So yeah, but I also lived up north. So I lived in Scarborough, Grimsby, Carlisle.
Okay. One thing I do love that you guys do over there, and you guys do it really well, is beer. Like, there's no other place I've gone, and you guys have had the faucets and they're iced. Like, I walk into a bar, into a pub. You guys call them a pub. You guys walk into a pub, and you walk up and you want to get a beer, get a pint. And I come up and I just see that it's chilled. I'm like, I know that beer is going to be nice and cold. And I'm just like, I get excited. Like, I get excited when I was over there and I would get a drink or a beer or a fish and chips or something like that. I mean, one thing you hear about England, and a lot of people say, is the food is not that good. But for me, I went over there. I loved everything I've tried. You guys, they call America the melting pot of food. England is truly the melting pot for food over there, with the cultures you guys all take in, with the Indian cuisine, all the European cuisine, the American cuisine. Like, let me tell you, man, it is absolutely amazing. Like I want to go back. You have no idea how much I want to go back to England. I want to go back, and I want to go back, and it's just so much. It was so much fun. So the 2 trips I took over there were for I don't know if you ever heard of Games Workshop. It's huge over there. Yep. So models and stuff like that. So I played Lord of the Rings. I'm a nerd. Shocker. And I went and played 2 tournaments over there internationally. Oh, nice. So I got to travel a little bit for that, and that was a good time. But that's, dude, I tell you, the one thing that's culturally different is I had to pay to use a restroom.
That's not everywhere.
It is. It's at the train station. It is.
Yeah, train stations can be that, especially the train stations in London, like the big train stations in London. I can't. I'm trying to think now. Like I've had to do it a couple of times. It's a nightmare. But I tend to find like with the big train stations, you tend to find there's like a McDonald's nearby. So that's tends to be the way you get around it. Head to a McDonald's and get around it that way.
But I mean, I'll be honest with you. That bathroom was the cleanest bathroom I've ever been to in my life. I mean, they said it's it was like 7 pence to get in, 7 pence or whatever. Whatever, 7 cents or whatever to me. I was like, 7 cents. All right, I'll pay that to go to the bathroom. I didn't know any better, but oh my God, that was cleanest public restroom I've ever been to in my life. I was like, I see why you got to pay for it now. Makes total sense to me. Like, why does America not do this? This makes so much sense. Have somebody clean the bathroom, the public restrooms as a job. That's such an amazing idea. But I'll tell you, and then the other thing that shocked me over there was mustard. I'm a huge mustard fan. And when you ask for mustard, it's brown spicy mustard. It's not, you guys don't have regular yellow mustard in packets. It's like,
no, so if you have mustard over here, it's like the English mustard that's got a kick to it.
So
you don't want to be spreading too much of that on.
So I had a hot dog or something. I had a hot dog and I was like, you know what? I want some extra mustard on this thing. I put it on. I was like, first bite, I was like, that was not what I expected one bit. Just the culture shock and the difference on how you guys do things. I wouldn't say it's interesting to me, and I love it, and I just love learning about it and seeing how you guys do things. The one thing I've been to is that in London, the English Museum that's free to go. Yep. It's huge.
Yeah,
that's like a 2-day event.
Yeah,
just to see the whole thing. Like I only saw half of it, and it was absolutely amazing. Like how much they have in there, starting from like the beginning to the end of like I think I made it up to China. I was like, bro, we got to go. And but I have over like 200 photos from that thing, and it was absolutely huge and amazing. Some really cool things in London, man.
Yeah, there is. Like, and the thing is, I mean, I've lived in and around London pretty much my whole life, apart from sort of 5 years. And there's so much in London that I've not explored. Yeah, it's just one of those things. Though I think, like when you live close to something, you kind of take it for granted.
I agree.
You don't tend to appreciate it as much as you should. Whereas if like I didn't live anywhere near here, and then I come down, then I'd be like,
that's so
running
true.
around everything. Yeah.
That the biggest thing that I can relate to that is like everybody's like, let's go to Washington D.C. and I'm like, well, let's not go to Washington. Let's just say we went to Washington D.C. It's a bunch of monuments. You can look them up on Google. That's very cool. No, let's go see them in person. Trust me, it's not as cool as you think it is. Traffic in D.C. is terrible. You don't want to go there. But I'll tell you the scariest thing. You guys are crazy when it comes to those double-decker buses. Those bus drivers are wild. I'll tell you what, you want to go to the amusement park and you want to get on the front of the roller coaster, you don't need to. Just jump on one of those daily buses, those double-decker buses, get on top and get to the very front. Put your hands up in the air because that is a roller coaster ride. You guys, holy smokes, I thought America was bad with driving. You guys aren't bad, but you guys are wild. Absolutely wild. I felt like I was going to fall out, but
yeah,
they are crazy.
It's weird, right? So where I used to live, I used to live up north, like the border of like England and Scotland.
Okay. And
I used to drive down. I can't remember how often, but as you drive down, you can tell when you get closer to London. Like even if you had no signs. Okay. Because all of a sudden, like you start off at, like up north, and it's all sort of very pleasant, sort of like Sunday morning driving, just chilling and relaxing. And as you kind of get sort of closer, you get to like Birmingham, like halfway down, and it sort of starts gearing up a little bit. It's almost like a Tour de France, like a Tour de France race where you sort of, it's all pleasant. You're going on, and then you get to London, and it's like a sprint finish. It just goes mental. Like everyone's like zigzagging in and out of lanes, and then you get to the centre of London. There's hardly any room, but people are still driving like maniacs. You
were so right. The bus does the same thing, zigging out in and out of traffic. I looked at my buddy. I was like, bro, I think I'm scared for my life. This is nuts. Like they don't even drive like this in New York City, but they do in London. I would not want to I would not drive a car 100% would never drive a car in England. I would take public transportation all day long.
So I've got a funny story about sort of like the red buses. So I don't know if you saw them when you was over. They have like what they call the route master, and the route master is it's a double-decker bus.
Okay.
At the back of the bus, you can jump on and off the bus. So
I've seen it in movies. So
yeah. So this is when I was sort of back in school, so like probably like 15, 16 years old.
Okay.
So me and my friends have gone like up to the centre of London, and we was like just walking around the shops, and I think we'd gone into Foot Locker, and we've come out. There must have been about 8 of us, and I was at the back as I normally am. I don't know why. I just always tend to find myself at the back of a group, just dragging my heels. So we've sort of all come out of Foot Locker. There's one of these Route Master buses sitting there. So everyone starts sort of jumping on the bus. The bus starts moving. Well, I'm at the back and I'm thinking, I need to catch up. So I've started running after this bus. And next thing I know, like I thought, I've got to make a decision here, whether or not I let it go and catch up with him later on, or make a dive for the bus. So in stupidity, I've decided, right, I'm going for it. So I've literally like sprinting full speed down like a busy Oxford Street, like one of the busiest roads in central London, and I've just fully gone for it.
Did you make it?
Yeah. Yes. I don't know if I'd be here if I didn't.
Oh my goodness. Dude, I can picture that in my head. Like, only thing that could be better than that story is like, I had to reach out and my friends caught me and they dragged me in, type of thing. I've been like, yo, that's like an action movie. But yeah, I can absolutely see that happening down there, because it was crazy. I think it's like something like in like San Francisco. I've never seen them, but they have the trolleys and stuff like you can jump on and off. Same concept probably, but I personally never seen those. That's where I was born, but I didn't live there long enough to see it or remember it. But so that's some of the history of you. Let's kind of jump into where you started gaming and how you got into gaming and things like that, and then we can move right in and how your streaming story and things like that, and what brought you up to that. So I've been gaming for as long as I can remember. Okay. I remember like quite young, we had like an Atari system. I can't tell you which one. That's sort of like a cartridge game. Okay. And I remember sort of playing that. And then my first console, like my own console, was a NES. Okay. And I had Duck Hunt, Super Mario, and a few other games. Yeah. And like literally, I have had consoles ever since. So I've had the NES, the SNES, the N64, Mega Drive, Sega Saturn. I had a Game Gear. Okay. I had Game Boys. I've had every PlayStation. I had the first Xbox, Nintendo Wii. Okay. Nintendo Wii U. Okay. So I played games for as long as I can remember. I like it. What is you name something that was right before the Saturn? I've never heard of that system. There was one system in there I never heard of. Mega Drive, Game Gear. Mega Drive. Mega Drive. Yeah. So that was a Sega. So that was like, I don't know. There was the Master System. That was their first one. Well, the first one that I can remember. That might have been just a European thing. I never remember. Yeah, maybe. Never heard of anything like that ever in the States. I come to find out, there's like, my buddy is a big collector of Nintendo stuff. Like, he owns every single Game Boy, Japanese and American. And it's like over 30 of them. And I never knew they just sold only Japanese Game Boys that you could only get over there. I was like, what the hell? We had something that allowed you to play discs from, like, my dad went over to Saudi Arabia and he bought back one of these game systems that you plug in, and it allowed you to play like floppy disks. So you would get the games and you would put them on these floppy disks and then put them in. That was weird, but I don't. Master Drive. What is it? Mega Drive. So Mega Drive. Mega Drive. Was there? Trying to think. Did you have a Sega Saturn? We had the Sega Genesis. Oh, it might have been that. Okay. It might have been the same thing as that. Okay, but they just called it a different name. Yeah, like the cartridge went in at the top. Okay, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the
So
same
it's
thing.
probably, yeah, it's probably the same thing.
Okay.
So yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah, different names. Okay. I was gonna say I've never heard of that game. That's the game system before. Okay. So growing up, you played all these different systems. Do you remember having like a favorite game that you like? This is the game. I'm coming home from school. You know what? I'm plugging up. My homework might be done. It might not be done. I'm plugging it up and I'm playing with the boys, or I'm playing by myself.
So I loved, like, as a multiplayer game, GoldenEye on the
Yes.
N64. Oh my god, what a game that was!
What a game. That game was absolutely amazing.
Like so many memories.
What is your favorite memory from that game?
So me and my cousin, what we used to do like a 1v1. But what you'd do is, like, one of us would go out the room and the other one would hide and just set traps everywhere. So, you know, you used to, like, put down a proximity mine on the box, run over the box, and then it would respawn.
Yep.
But it'd be booby trapped. So we'd kind of just do things like that. So almost like a game of hide and seek with proximity mines. It was mental.
That's cool.
So that's kind of what we used to do quite a lot. And just, yeah, I mean, that game was just incredible.
I think it was like 10 years, like, it wasn't 10 years ago. I think it was like 5 or 6 years ago. I turned to my boy and I was like, bro, you still have your N64? And he's like, yeah. I was like, you have GoldenEye? He's like, duh. I was like, let's hook it up and play. And I'm trying to play and I'm like, dude, how did we used to play this game?
It's mad, isn't it?
It is terrible.
like you go back and try and play games, you just like, how? Why?
What was this technology? My favorite memory with N64 with the GoldenEye was the paint, when you could when they started setting out like the unlocks, when they, like, you had the game out and then they were like, hey, buy this cheat book and you can unlock these game modes inside the game, which I thought was amazing. And you're like, you unlocked it and it was the paintball mode. And oh my god, the paintball mode, we sat there for hours and would play it. Like, we thought it was the coolest thing. You could sit there and spell your name out with a paintball gun and stuff like that, and we would sit there and just shoot the walls and whatnot, and obviously we played each other. But it was the memory of having all four controllers plugged in and playing games and being on LAN and doing that, and
yeah, that special.
That was the times with the boys. Those were the times with the boys. Hey, it's Friday night. What are you doing? We're watching TGIF shows, and then we're gonna go ahead and play some games. It was those were special times. I absolutely remember those and cherish them. Like, that is the experience, like, that opened up the world. I think for a lot of people was like GoldenEye. I don't know, did you ever get to play Bomberman?
Yep.
Oh my god. And the Super Nintendo Bomberman was like,
incredible game.
And we got the adapter that you got to plug in and plug all 4 controllers in at the same time. So cool. Like, we had everything. I had to say I was pretty lucky. So streaming, with your streaming and stuff like that, so one of the things you were telling me, you had all these big old plans, and like, let's start from the very beginning. Beginning, like, you know what, Gman, I want to go live. You're gonna go, and like, I'm gonna go live. I'm gonna do this. Let's start, like, how did you come up with the idea I should start streaming, and take me through that process, and how you got everything together, and then some of the reasons why you stream, because you're a family man. And I love that story. I love the story that you told me. That's one of the things, especially with family. Family is important to me.
Yeah. So I mean, I didn't really know much about streaming until lockdown started, when I kind of, I guess, kind of fell upon it on Facebook.
Okay.
And it was Finned that I first saw streaming.
Okay.
And I think it was when they was pushing him for, was it 1 million views or something like, I can't remember, or 1 million followers or something like that.
Okay.
So it just randomly appeared. So then I just started watching it, and I was already playing like Call of Duty. Like my history of playing Call of Duty is, like, I played the multiplayer, but I loved the campaign modes. Like, the campaign modes were like for me, incredible. Like the amount of thought and detail that went into them, I love them, especially the sniping ones. So I'd played, what was the first BR they had? Was it Blackout?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I played that a little bit. Yeah, so I played that a little bit, but not sort of much. And then Warzone come out, I started playing it a little bit. But then once I started watching Fins, then I kind of got into it a bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, I kind of stumbled upon like Godku and Threebs and sort of people like that. And then I started sort of sitting in chat and then sort of meeting people within sort of like the community. And it was, I suppose, sort of like two of my sort of biggest influences in kind of streaming were like Biohazard Wife and Cassandra.
Okay.
And they're both sort of people that I was doing a lot of streaming at the time. And to be fair, so was Cass. And like, I was just sort of talking with them and like while I was gaming with them and things like that. And like they were sort of trying to encourage me to stream. And I'm like, I don't know if I can do it. I'll think about it. And then bizarrely, I spent, so it must have been about this time last year actually. So I think I'm coming up to like my 1 year anniversary.
Okay.
And I'd been umming and ahhing about it for ages, and I wanted to wait until my internet got upgraded because my internet wasn't great. So I thought I'll wait for my internet to upgrade. But bizarrely, my eldest got on the PS4, and I think I'd signed into Twitch on my PS4 just to sort of test it out. So I think I had one sort of test just to see if it, like, how it worked and everything else. And I'm sitting at my phone, and then I get a notification to say that I've gone live. Like, how have I gone live from my phone? And I'm looking, and I'm like, but I'm not live on my phone. So I've looked it up.
Did you?
And
did I hit a button? Did I hit a button that I wasn't supposed to?
Because to be honest, it's something that I do quite a lot. Like quite often, I put my phone in my pocket and have it locked, and I'll like ring people on Discord or like send messages and just like all the time. Like people will tell you like if like getting random calls from me at like 3 o'clock in the morning. Like, look, I'm so sorry if I woke you. Just phone was in my pocket, but yeah. So I've logged on and I've watching it, and it's like my eldest is just logged into my Twitch on his PS4. He's now streaming. I was like, brilliant. I'm there watching, like listening. I can't remember. I think he was playing a game called Racing Bros.
Okay.
Something along those lines, and he was just sort of playing that, and then like he was like, I think a couple of people had dropped into chat, and he was like, "Oh, shout out to Cool Arrow for stopping by and saying hello, blah blah blah." And I'm like, and at the time he was 8, and I'm like, he's got like a natural talent for, like he's always been a bit of an entertainer anyway, a bit of a showman, and he's kind of like he's got this natural talent for like narrating as he's going along, and he loves it. And so yeah, so then I thought, right, let me sort of get myself going and sort of press that go live button. And you don't, until you think about pressing that go live button for the first time, you don't realize how nerve-wracking it is. Yeah. And I don't know why, because it's not as like that first time I went live, I don't know how many people sort of stopped by, but like it's not like you're going live in front of like 100 people or 50 people or 20 people. Like you probably have a couple of people, but it's nerve-wracking.
It is. It's the unknown. I think what it is the unknown. You don't know, and you don't know what kind of reaction you're gonna get. You don't know what kind of people are gonna stop by. You just don't know about that, and it is nerve-wracking. I mean, I tell you, one thing is nerve-wracking for me is this podcast every Saturday. It's that first 10 minutes of setting everything up, and then like, you and I had a small talk before. That's the first time we talked ever. And that I'm nervous. I'm super nervous, and then we get into this, and I'm like, man, we've been out all my life, bro. We've been talking like this the whole time. Type of thing. And I understand that feeling because I get nervous every single show. And I only do this once a week, but I get nervous to go. This is my go live, get nervous thing. And it's just because I don't know the reaction. I don't know how you're gonna the person's gonna receive me, or the crowd's gonna receive you, and type of things, or we're gonna handle things. And I think it's, I fully understand that concept of, and I get that same like feeling in my gut every single Saturday at this time. I'm like, well, here we go. Best of luck there, guys. So I totally understand that feeling, and but that first time is realistically is because your son hit go live on Twitch. It kind of set that ball rolling. I love that. I mean, I absolutely love that. So,
and one of the big things for me is like, so my son, I've got 3 boys. Like the eldest he's 9, the middle one's going to be 4 in 2 weeks, and then I've got the baby who's going to be 2 next year. But the eldest, he loves computer games, and like I think the first games he played was sort of like Roblox.
Okay.
And he loved that, and then he moved to Minecraft and like loved that, and used to tell me all these weird and wonderful things about Minecraft. And like, Minecraft is a game that I don't understand, because I don't understand the point of it. I just don't get it.
Me neither. Me neither.
I've played it with him a few times. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just running around like smashing the ground and getting mud. I don't know why.
You just do whatever he says. You're like, do this.
Yeah.
Okay, son, I got this. What do you want me to do? You tell me what to do.
Yeah, build me a road. Yeah, I've got it. 10 miles later, the straightest road you've ever seen.
Oh man, I think I seen a file, like it was something on like Reddit or something. It was like this community of 10,000 people, or it was some weird number, built like a identical city in Minecraft, and I forget what city it was, but it was some movie, and they built the city, and it took them like 5 years to do. And they literally built this, but from block to block, all these people took time, and they came into the server and they built the city. Like, why? Why? Like, what's the, are you killing somebody? No, we just built the city, bro. We built this city. We built this city.
Exactly that.
Yeah, that's basically what they did. I agree. Yeah. But you used to connect with them though, so.
Yeah. But yeah, so he was big on sort of Minecraft, and he used to watch Dan TDM, I think it is. He's a big Minecraft streamer, or was a big Minecraft streamer.
Okay.
I think he's English, but I think he's now in the States.
Okay.
And then Preston Plays. So he kind of he kind of did that. I was watching sort of like that, and then he keeps on sort of saying that he loves gaming, and that he goes, "Oh, I want to be a YouTuber and this that, and everything else." And I kind of thought, right, if that's something that he wants to do, that's fine. Like my thing is, as long as he's happy, or any of my 3 boys, as long as they're happy with whatever they choose to do, that's all I'm concerned about. And
absolutely,
because of like how tech savvy my kids are, I need to keep up to date with them. Because even the baby is on an iPad swiping through things, and I'm like, what? How? Why?
The technology, it is our youth today in technology. That's one of the things we talked about with Phoenix last week, is she wants to use the technology that she has to bring it to people and teach them how to use it, because that's what the way the world is going today is via technology. And it's very important that our youth today knows how to use technology, because us older people are getting phased out from that stuff. I mean, I would say we were the age, I'm assuming we're right around the same age, probably under 40 but over 30 type of thing. So we were at that age where technology started to boom, and technology has changed so much from that first computer to what we have nowadays. So keeping up with that technology boom, because our kids are going to be doing it, their kids are going to be doing it in future generations. So it's important that we don't phase out technology, because then there's going to be a generational gap between you and your kids and your grandkids, and you don't want that. And I see that That's one of the things you're looking to do, is to continue keep that togetherness and being able to keep up with it, even though it's not easy because technology changes every second.
Oh yeah, it's constantly changing. Yeah, like all the time. But like I said, like the eldest is so tech savvy, he's unreal. Like I found him creating YouTube videos and uploading them to YouTube on my YouTube account. I was like, how have you worked out how to like, he was recording his gameplay on Roblox and uploading it, like playing Roblox on like the old laptop and uploading it onto YouTube. I was like, how do you know how to do this? Like,
sounds like you got a personal editor there.
yeah, I really have. So I kind of thought, like, if this is something that he wants to do, then I kind of need to find out a little bit about it. And that's kind of like another thing that kind of sort of pushed me to kind of go live, to kind of figure out everything that goes on with sort of like streaming. So what I need to know to make sure that he, like, when he's old enough to stream, that I can help him and sort of guide him in the right direction, and also kind of look after him, because like, as you know, sort of like content creating or streaming, like however you kind of call it, there's always, because you're putting yourself out there in sort of like the big wide world, there's always an element of toxicity out there, and people that just want to kind of bring you down.
Yes.
And for me, I want to make sure that if there's something that he does want to do, I'm able to kind of prepare him to sort of say to him, look, do what makes you happy, but beware that at times it is going to be hard, and it's not all sort of fun and games, especially sort of like when people say sort of horrible things, and especially like my eldest, he's very sensitive. So like, if someone says something to him online, how is he gonna take it? So it's just sort of, I just need to sort of make sure that I can protect him as much as I can, and kind of guide him as best as I can. So that was kind of like why I started it. But I mean, trouble is, like with me, like I said, I've got 3 kids. Oh, yeah. I've also got 2 dogs. I work 40 hours a week. And like when I started streaming, I was like, oh, I have all these plans, and I was like, but by the time you kind of get round to it, it's sort of like, all right, I'm just gonna play some games and sort of see what content I create and sort of put it out there. But even now, like I've got loads of clips on my hard drive that I've done nothing with, because I'm just like, all right, I should do some editing. But then I just think, do you know what? I need some sleep, because that's the other thing as well. So like, I'm up most days, probably 7 o'clock is when the kids wake me up.
Yep.
And then I'm working from like 9:30 normally till about 6, 6:30. And then I finish working, help out, sort of like the kids out, put a couple of them to bed, do a little bit of housework, try and get to the gym. And next thing I know, it's like, oh, I want to do some gaming now. And normally it's like 10, 11 o'clock before I start gaming. So if I'm gaming and streaming, chances are I don't go to bed till like 2:30 in the morning, and then I do it all over again. And then what happens is I've probably been doing that now for the last, I probably do it 3 or 4 times a week, probably for the last 5 months. And then this week it just kind of caught up to me. Like I've been sitting on the sofa, and literally as soon as I sat on the sofa, as soon as the kids are here, asleep. Out. Out like a light.
It will catch up to, and balancing it is key. One of the things sounds like something you could do that would be positive and kind of help your eldest, is you have that hard drive full of clips and say, you know, hey, let's sit down together. Let's practice. You want to be a YouTuber. This is some of the skills you're going to need, and make it a real life world situation, aka he's helping you out, putting out content. He just doesn't realize it. But and B, I mean, you're teaching him on how to edit. That's one of the things I personally need to balance time with. I do all my edits. I'm really terrible about it, but I do all my my edits on my clips on my phone. I have an editor on my phone. I just edit and screen record and edit that way. So I need to learn how to do it on the computer. I just haven't took the time to do it. But using that fact, I would think that would be a great way, like a teaching tool, because he wants to be a YouTuber slash probably a vlogger, because it's a hard industry to get to. I think it's like professional sports. I mean, only 1% of the people make it in. And it's a saturated industry too. For the people that are very, like you said, a very toxic industry. Because personally, I just learned posting YouTube shorts are way better than posting TikToks. So and for gameplay, and I was attacked on my YouTube shorts about I'm a big guy, and I know that I'm a big guy, and they're like, "Oh man, you fat," blah 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 blah. And then one of the messages I got, holy smokes, that man went out to kill me and attack my character and everything. I like had to take a screenshot and I sent it to my friends. I was like, y'all see what this man said? Holy smokes, these people are mean on the internet. And I already knew that, but I think I was like, my YouTube virginity was just broken there with that comment. I was like, God, the audacity of that man. He really took time to hurt me. It didn't hurt me, but it was just like you're saying, prepping your son, knowing all that stuff. And so sometimes you won't be successful. Sometimes you will be successful. That video he commented on had, I think, 2.4 views on it. 2.4 thousand views on it. Yeah. That's one of my better videos. And I was like, hey, whatever, cool in the end. But I can see that. And the toxicity you talk about is and it goes game by game, community by community. It's crazy that there's still so much hostility out in the world today.
I mean, you kind of think like, why are people going out of their way to comment online about someone's gameplay, someone's appearance? Like, why did they do that? You could spend, like, you don't have to spend that minute commenting on it. You could just move, like, see something, don't like it, move on. But people, I don't know what it is, people feel like they've got this divine right to go and sort of attack someone else. Like, and don't get me wrong, if the criticism is constructive, then you can kind of take that. Like, if someone said, oh look, like, I would have done this differently, or blah 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 blah, you're like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. But it's not. It's like, you're trash, you look trash, that's trash, this is trash. There's nothing about it. It's just people being spiteful for no reason at all.
Being so negative, and it is absolutely, and preparing yourself for that for streaming. I don't think I've ever realized that when I decided to start streaming and making this a hobby of mine. I never thought I'd realize that was going to be a thing. Like, it didn't dawn on me until like a year and a half into it, that people were just going to come in and try to rip you down. And sometimes the people are like, that's when you know you made it. No, it's not. You shouldn't judge your making it off of other people hating you and things like that. And it's crazy that people I've talked to, is like, you become into it. I'm almost 2 years in, and you become desensitized to it, and you're just like, that's a hater. Who? Time to rev it up, baby. Let's go ahead. This little troll's about to get trolled back, type of thing. and trying to sometimes, and you know, it's to me, it's just wild and crazy, and I just don't understand, like you said, why do people do it? But it's human nature to just tear other people down. And I see a lot of your tweets on Twitter and things like that, and the positivity that you invoke into the world is something that's amazing.
Thank you.
And the things that you try to bring a positive light that I see into people is something that I love to see in other streamers, and I wish other people took that, because one of the sad truths is, as a human race, we love drama. We absolutely love drama. When you see drama, you will see that ticker increase, that likes on that post increase, and things like that, because people enjoy seeing other people suffer, or people enjoy seeing other people's drama put out there, because they're like, oh, that ain't me, but that shit is fucking hilarious when it's not. And I think that's one of the biggest drawbacks to the streaming community is that we can't breed it out of human nature, but it is human nature that the more drama that's caused, the bigger that you become, and the more hate that you receive. And it's crazy to me that that has to be seen. Like, I'm not calling anyone out, but I've seen on Twitter lately, just someone's like, I've missed some of the drama, I've been gone, let me see some of the drama. Like, why are you asking to see people's drama? Why don't you worry about yourself, stay in your lane?
Yeah,
type of thing. And you being that positive person, that's kind of one of the reasons why I wanted to talk to you, because of your positivity and on that positive light you're bringing out. And I know that from your story, you're saying that you're doing this for your kids, and you, as in trying to teach them, knowing that so that you have the knowledge to pass it down, and you'll want to pass it down the right way. Because what do people see in bigger streamers today? Some toxicity. And what does that person think it's okay in their mind to see that toxicity is passed down? My favorite streamer is toxic. That means it's okay for me to be toxic. Yeah. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not a saint. I get toxic. I have a toxic emote because I get toxic sometimes, but I try not to be. But I get a little heated sometimes. You know, my competitive juices pop out. So
yeah, see, I tend to be so with me, like you say, like I try and be positive sort of most of the time, and I try and sort of build up people that I think are good people. I try and sort of get them the exposure that I think they should be getting, and it's difficult, especially sort of like we play Call of Duty, we play Warzone, and especially sort of like the competitive side of sort of like Warzone, the tourneys and things like that. Mm-hmm. There is a lot of amazing players that should probably compete at near the top level, but they don't get the opportunity. And if I see someone that wants that opportunity and they're constantly trying to get into tournaments, I will always put a voucher on their name, because I think without sort of people doing that, they won't get looking, because people won't see that. They'll just sort of look past them, because organizers want, like, it's just business, isn't it? Organizers want people that are going to bring a lot of impressions, a lot of viewers. That's
true.
So you kind of, like, I try and do my bit. No, I've not got a massive following, but I'll shout from the rooftops if I can, and if it eventually helps someone, then I've done something positive. When I game, like even in Warzone, like I'm not the greatest, and I die a lot, and I just kind of I just smile my way through it, because at the end of the day, I'm playing a video game. That's the way I see it. Like, it's not my main job. Like, I don't rely on streaming for an income. I'm streaming because I can. It's something fun. It's something to take my mind off of things. So if I'm dying all the time, it doesn't matter. If I'm dying to a cheater, as annoying as it is, it still doesn't matter, because it's not really impacting me. Whereas if I was doing it full time, I might have a different view of it, because if my content's suffering, or I can't get into tourneys because I keep on dying to hackers, or like I'm not playing very well, then I may sort of get a bit down about it. But you've got to take the highs and lows, and you've got to try and sort of just even it out. Like, celebrate those highs, but when those lows come along, just kind of try and ride through it, because it's very easy to kind of, especially with like content creating, I think it's very easy to slip into that hole and struggle to find a way out. Because if you start hating the way you're playing or the game that you're playing, like, how if you're playing a game and you're hating it, what's your community going to think of that game and of you? If you're not enjoying it, are they going to be enjoying it? Unless they're only there to see you rage. It's difficult. It's difficult, especially if you're doing it as your full-time job, because you've got to, like I say, you've got to try and balance it out.
That's so true. That is so true, and it's You just hit the nail on the head. Like, ride the lows, try to be even, ride your highs, and you just hit the nail on the head, like you said, with that whole statement, that whole paragraph. That's 100%. That is like streaming in a rap, like content creation in a rap. You're gonna have your highs and you're gonna have your lows, and ride your highs as highs, ride your lows as lows, but just try to be consistent. But also, if you become consistent, don't become complacent, is what I'm trying to say in the long run with streaming, because once you become complacent, it's just like a music artist, you know, they always changing up their styles and stuff like that to stay with the times. The same thing with streaming, or content creation, you gotta keep up with the times and change your content sometimes, and don't be afraid of it and trying something different. And like you said, I like that comment about, like, one of the things I can't stand to hear all the time is, that guy's hacking. Okay, he's hacking. Move on. Shit happens. We all know. Warzone is full of hackers. People have paid tons of money. Companies have made tons of money off of Warzone and hacking. We understand. You don't have to announce it to the world again. It is. You can say it. Yeah, that dude's hacking. Oh well, shit happens. You know what? Move on to the next game. Sucks if it's in a tournament, yes, or something like that. But that exposure, talking about that exposure for streamers to try to get that exposure in the tournament scene, because let's be honest, would you rather have me in that tournament, or would you rather have Tim the Tap Man? What's going to bring more exposure to that tournament? Exactly.
So I don't know, it's really tough, because there's so many people grinding for the tournaments, like that competitive scene, because like it might be their natural instinct that they want to be competitive, that they are competitive, and they want to be sort of mixing it at whatever level to be competitive. So I don't know. I think people need to go about it a little bit different. Like, rather than just sort of saying, "Oh yeah, I'd love to play," post a clip of your gameplay, like, and because it's something different, because you don't see many people doing it.
Yeah.
So every now and again, just put a clip of your gameplay of you sort of squad wiping someone, and then sort of like, then you'll get reactions of it. You'll probably get some hate as well, but the majority of it will be positive. So it's the same sort of, like, for everything. Like you have to think of ways to stand out from the crowd.
Yep.
And with that, you sometimes you just need to think outside the box a little bit.
What makes you different from everyone else? And that's key. That's also in creating content. There's a million people that play freaking. I think it was if I look at Twitch right now, there's like probably 64 or anywhere from 32 to 64,000 people watching somebody play Warzone right now. What makes you different from that person, from the next person up playing Warzone? What stands you apart from that person? And
Exactly.
That's 100%, and that's coming in on. I'm finding out on Twitter a lot. I wasn't on Twitter a lot, and then this last year I've learned a lot about Twitter, learned a lot about YouTube personally, and dynamics of people, and actually starting this show up. I'm doing this podcast on our 11th show, which, once again, guys, if you're watching on YouTube on the replay, I want to say thank you so much. And as always, guys, we are live on Twitch currently when we do the taping, and this gets posted on Sunday for everybody that is interested on YouTube. But I've learned so much with the dynamics of people and trying to get responses back and trying to build relationships and things like that. It's not easy. It is not easy in this industry. And I've been down, like episode 1, 2, 3 were easy. Then I had to do a couple episodes by myself, and that was hard. Then I got some people in, and I was up. And let me tell you, this podcast almost got canceled, as in like total canceled. Stopped doing it because I was getting down about it. And then finally some people picked me up and said, "Hey, we want to be on it," and you were one of them. And I really appreciate that, because that just gave me some hope that this thing is going to work, that we can get to episode hopefully 100 or something like that. How many Saturdays in a year? 52? Maybe we get to episode 52 within a year, you know what I'm saying? So that type of thing is one of the things I look forward to, and riding those highs and those lows again. And it's not easy.
Yeah, and I think it's it's the same with anything. Like when you start up something new, unfortunately, you are going to have like that initial interest, and then you're going to have those lows, and then it's quite hard to kind of maintain that interest in terms of getting people on board. And networking, like you say, is difficult. Like some people, you can drop them a message and they'll respond to, or like you say, you'll put a tweet out there to see if anyone wants to, like, and sometimes you get a response, and other times you get absolutely nothing. It's like when you, like, say for example, like I'll put a tweet out and say, oh, anyone want to play Warzone next week, and it's crickets. But you know,
it's the worst feeling in the world sometimes, isn't it though?
Yeah. But,
nobody likes me.
But then, you know, like say like tomorrow I'll log on and then someone say, oh, like anyone want to join, like anyone want to join me, and you say, oh yeah, I'll do it, and they go, oh yeah, jump in Discord, and it's fine. And it's just I think it's just social media. I think like sometimes things get seen and other times they don't, and you just, I don't know. There's no easy way around it, because like there will always be, no matter how strong you are mentally, you'll always think to yourself, am I doing something wrong? Do people not really like this? And you kind of, there is a lot of self-doubt, especially with sort of like this, because you're putting yourself out there. Like, and it's sort of similar to, my wife got well, my wife, she's been a legal secretary for 16 years, and in the summer they were putting people up for voluntary, or asking people if they take voluntary redundancy, and we kind of ummed and ahed about it for about a month and decided that it's probably the best thing for her to take voluntary redundancy, because if she didn't and they made her redundant, we'd lose out on X amount of money. And what they were talking about doing with the job role was changing the job role completely, changing the hours that they worked, and we were just thinking it's just going to be a nightmare, especially with 3 kids. So she decided to set up her own business as a virtual assistant, and she was speaking to like one of her friends that kind of done the same thing, and she was saying, oh yeah, I got work straight away, blah 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 blah. And I kind of said to my wife, I said, it's unlikely that you will get the same will happen to you as it does to her, because to me that sounds rare, that someone starts up a new business and they land on their feet. You tend to find when people start up their own business, it takes a while for it to get out there, and then you get like little bits of work, and then it will start kind of building slowly. And it probably took a little bit longer than I expected as well. And she had a couple of jobs, and sort of, I think when you've been employed for your whole life and worked for a company, and every interview that she's been for, she's got the job and they've loved her. Like when you then work for yourself and you're dealing with people that you probably wouldn't normally deal with, and they've got expectations, but they don't give you enough information to meet those expectations, it kind of, like, she done a couple of jobs for people and it really knocks her confidence. And like it's been hard to try and kind of build her up, and like you say, it's those kind of ups and downs that she's been having, but all of a sudden, like the last sort of month or so, it's kind of taken off and she's got all this work coming in, which is great, and it's great for her confidence as well. But it's the same, like I say, it's similar to this podcast. Like no matter how much effort you put in, it doesn't necessarily means it's going to fly straight away. Yeah. Like, do you know what I mean? and it like you say, it kind of takes sort of people to get on board and just sort of almost give you a chance to sort of say, and then, but that's how you build it. And slowly but surely, you're going to have people that want to sort of come in all the time and sort of like, oh yeah, I want to get on that podcast because it's a whole lot of fun. I can tell my story. Like people can learn a little bit about me. I can promote myself, X, Y, and Z, and it will kind of get going. It's just one of those things that it will kind of take time, and you'll get sort of different people come along and I want involved in that.
You're like You're speaking right to me on that one, like how the same situation, like you said with your wife, but referring it to me, and you're hitting the nail on the head with that also, because there's a lot of taking, like I've been, so in my life I've done 10 years of sales, and selling myself is what I do, and I feel like streaming, it's this, I don't do this full time. I have a job that pays my bills, and I do this as a hobby, and it, you know what, if I get a little bit of money from my hobby, fucking fantastic. It's paid for more stuff for my computers and stuff like that, and monitors, my setup and stuff like that. Basically it's all paid through from my streaming, and it allows me to support other streamers. But you feel almost as a person, like I know how your wife felt, because you feel like you're failing yourself. Not only are you failing yourself, but you know you have that experience, you can sell yourself. You just need that chance, that opportunity, that one shot. And like you said, like some people are giving me shots. Yes, I'm reaching out to some of my friends first, and they've given me the shot to get their story out, and trying to reach out to strangers is hard. I still don't understand why people have business emails and they don't freaking answer back. Can you explain that one to me? What's the purpose of putting a business email on your profile if you just don't respond back? No. I guess all I want is a no. You could just say no, thank you, or just no, and I'd be like, okay, I got a response back. I want to know if the email damn works. You know, what's the purpose of putting a business email on there? And like, I'll try to be proper and stuff like that. It's just like you said, and it's like selling yourself. And I think streaming's the same way. Like, you're selling yourself to your community every single day. Who you are, your gameplay, your hypeness, or your kindness, your heart. You put yourself out there, like you said, and your wife, she put herself out there, and she kind of fell a little bit, but did she give up? No, she worked through it, and this last month has been amazing. So congratulations to her. But it's a step by step, and like you said, like I said, I thought about, I don't really tell people, I thought about stopping the podcast just because I didn't see any movement, and doing it on my own is hard. Streaming on your own is hard. I don't think people realize that you gotta have a team. Like, so one of my episodes was talking about networking. You have your inner circle, and then you have your networking circle. You need that inner circle to support you. You need that networking circle to help you out. There's a difference with that, and that networking, your network will help you grow in the end. Your inner circle is there to boost you up, and you're like your wife's inner circle. You're there, you boost her up, and you pick her up, and you gave her that realization, hey, this might not be the same. Some streamers do blow up overnight. A lot of streamers don't. Once again, there's only 1% of the business that actually makes it as a living. So this man sitting here at 2:00 his time in the morning, speaking to my heart and everything like that. And that's 100% like facts, 100% facts. With that.
And then going back to your sort of thing about the business emails as well, it's like you say, like, if you reach out to someone, like to me, even if you don't want to do it, just reply and just say no. No, it just makes it almost worthwhile that you've made the effort to sort of reach out to them, for them to turn around and say, oh, actually, no, it's not something I want to do. Like, it's like, as much as it's like not the news that you want, it's still something back, and you're like, right, fair enough, I can work with that. And it's all I want is a no. Like, like a no. Just tell me no. Like, I just want to know that I took the time out of my day to write you an email or write you something, and just to respond back. Yeah, it was something. You can do a thumbs down. I don't even care. Do a thumbs down. Something, and that I know that you read it, because there's on Twitter, there's a blue check mark that tells me that you read it. Yeah. Okay. Like, there's some people that have never even read my message. I was like, I don't know if they have their messages unlocked, but I don't know. Yeah. I was able to message them. Yeah. So if you're not friends with someone and you send a message on Twitter, it goes into their, I think, message requests, but they do they should get a notification of it. But some people turn off their read receipt as well. So you'll get a message, like, or send someone a message, and they'll reply to you, but it's still showing that it's not been read, and it's just like, right, fine. Well, I don't know why you do that, but whatever.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's you.
Whole purpose is I understand some of the people are you're a big streamer and things like that, but hey, take the time. You never know. But like you're saying, and like I said, for everyone that's been here or done it or responded back, I'm very, very grateful for it. So you got all that started streaming and stuff like that, but you do have a little history of being competitive.
Yeah,
I do want to talk about this competitiveness because there's something that you and I share a love of.
Yeah, so I mean, I've always been competitive. I've grown up competitive. Like, that's come from my parents. Both my parents are competitive. But yeah, I played professional soccer for 5 years, and then semi-pro on and off for the last 12 years, I guess. Yeah.
Who did you play professionally for? Because now you piqued my interest.
So I played professionally for Grimsby. They were in League Two at the time. So yeah, I was there for 2 years, but the second year I was out injured for the whole season. So
that's kind of, I mean, sorry for the injury, but that's still pretty cool to say. That you got to play soccer professionally. So for all you American folks, it's soccer. For you guys in Europe, it's football. You know, so but yeah, so that's one of the really cool things. So I played soccer since I was 3. I was a lot smaller back in my day. And so what position did you play? So
by trade, I'm a striker or a winger, but okay. I've kind of played all over the years. I'm still trying to play now, sort of, but I'm getting old.
So yeah, the older you,
and my body keeps on telling me no.
Soccer is a young man's sport, I'll tell you that.
It really is. Like, I was sort of saying to my wife, like, the standard that I'm playing at now is nowhere near where kind of the standard that I used to play at. But I said, like, I'm going to be 38 in January.
Okay.
I said, like, I'm playing against people in their 20s, and I said, as much as I might have more quality than them, like, physically, they're fitter than me. They can keep on running. Yeah, I can't do that. It's like, and the thing is as well, as you get older, you sort of slow down, sort of physically and mentally. Like, there's times when I think, oh yeah, I can do that, but I've just not got that sharpness anymore.
Yep.
Or my brain doesn't quite think of it quick enough. And that like all of that, it kind of takes its toll, and then it's sort of like it takes like two days for my body to recover. Whereas like years ago, I could play a game of football, and then in the evening I think, oh, do you know what? I could go and play another game of football. Like now, it's like I'll be lucky to play again next weekend.
Yeah, no, that you're 100%. So I grew up playing goalie. Like from the age 7 on, I played goalie, and that is like, I should have went. I went and played for one of the bigger high schools in my state, and then I should have probably went to college and played, but I decided not to take the college route. So, and over in America, we don't. Back in my day, they didn't have football academies and things like that. We had to go to college to go to continue our soccer careers into professional. So yeah. Unless we were lucky enough to be picked up by an academy overseas, which didn't happen very often, but it is more prevalent now. And I'm so happy. I'm telling you this, I'm so happy to see how Americans have taken to soccer and taken to that concept of European soccer and bringing academies in and bringing in partnerships with Man City and so for a perfect example, New York City, one of their teams, not the Red Bulls, the other one, the blue one, is with Man City, has a Man City academy and stuff like that. It's very cool to see that, and Canada's getting involved in it, and very disappointed in the World Cup qualifications years before, but hopefully with Qatar coming up, you should see USA back in there. Hopefully.
Yeah, I think give it sort of like 10-15 years, and like US are probably going to be one of the like forces, just because I think the more people in the States get into it, you'll see those athletes that would always go to American football, basketball. You see some of them start filtering into soccer, and then like that will sort of start improving the game at the top level.
So the biggest thing that's a drawback to American soccer is compared to football, to American football, American baseball, and stuff like that is actually, sorry guys, we're taking a side tangent on talking sports here, so I do apologize, but hey, we'll circle back into gaming, trust me, is that the pay scale in America is not there. So all of our good players go over to Europe, I mean, to play, but in the end it hurts the American game. But when we have an all MLS team try to qualify for World Cup, but CONCACAF is not the hardest to get out of, but we should be able to get out of it between Mexico and us and Costa Rica. So but with that being said, it's that pay structure, you don't see it. I mean, soccer players are the number one paid players in the world. I mean, perfect example, Cristiano Ronaldo is probably the richest sports figure in the world. Yeah. And
I think
so happy to see him back in the EPL, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I think it will happen. It's just getting that exposure. And once that exposure comes in, because as you well know, like the money generated by sports all comes from advertising.
Yep.
So as soon as soccer becomes more mainstream in the States, and that's when the money will start getting plowed into it, and then that's when you start getting the players that will go, oh, actually, I don't need to go to Europe. I mean, like some of them will do because they want to experience Europe and sort of essentially play against some of the best players in the world. But then you're going to start seeing the bigger European players head over to the States when the money starts.
Yeah.
Like, and it will take time, but it's the same with anything, isn't it?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it was exciting seeing Wayne Rooney at DC United. It was exciting seeing Ibrahimovic over in LA, David Beckham over in LA. It was exciting seeing that, you know, different big name players like that. Side note, I saw Wayne Rooney, DC United was it was tied, and literally DC United pushed everyone forward, and he
made the tackle.
He hawked that dude down and tackled him, and then crossed the ball 50 freaking yards in the air, and the smallest player in DC United had the ball in the goal, and we fucking won. I was freaking out. One of the best plays of all time I've ever seen is Wayne Rooney. It was
incredible.
Like he's 35 at the time, I think, right? Or 35 or 34 at the time or something like that. Yeah, and he hawked a young dude down. And when I mean, I don't know if you watch American football at all. Like,
I love American football.
Like, you know who DK Metcalf is from Seattle? The wide receiver where he chased down got picked, and then he chased down that corner and he tackled him. That's what Wayne Rooney was like. And that was, oh my goodness. I'm not a big Wayne Rooney fan, but he's absolutely, he was a good character when he was in. So good. Now he coaches at Derby, and now my boy Steven Gerrard coaches over at Aston Villa now.
Yep. Yeah. After he left Rangers, they got another win today. 2 on the bounce.
So that's exciting. So, But so that competitiveness within sports kind of relates into competitive gameplay, but I know that you're not all about the competitive gameplay. You're about having that good vibe, good feels. But I think that still relates to your exposure in sports. Still relates to you being able to retain that into streaming, and it allows you to have that personality, that vibrancy, and being able to go out of your way and talk to people and be able to shout people out and make sure that they are good. And I think that both like relate in one into the another. So that's a big thing. I'm a big believer in sports. I really am. Youth sports are important. I hope they never go away.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. I think sports are massive. I think it's a great life sort of learning event, sort of taking part in sports like that. Like, again, take like the highs and lows, how you deal with it, how you like how you respond to losing or something not going your way. I think they're massive, and I think like for me, like my sporting background has helped me immensely throughout my whole kind of working career. Like when I stopped playing professional sports, I did I say over here we call it plastering, but in the States it's dry lining. I did that for a little while, and then I worked in a warehouse. I was a courier sort of in central London, driving sort of parcels around, and then started to do they call it the knowledge, to become a black cab driver. But it's like, as much as I'd love to do it, it takes about 3 years, and you have to learn every road in, I can't even remember the radius around central London, and you have to know them road by, like, name each road that you drive down, when you, like, which way you turn to get down the road. Like, it's mental, but that's what black cab drivers do, and that's why they're kind of so good in central London, because they'll go, like, you'll say to someone, oh, I want to go from wherever I am to, I don't know, Westminster Bridge, and they'll drive the route. Like, I could drive the route, like, by myself, but I wouldn't be able to tell you any of the roads that I went down. Whereas they will be able to tell you every single road kind of on the way to the route, which is, to me, blows my mind.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but that's what they like. So the black drivers you see in central London, they've all gone through what they call the knowledge, and then they have to they do, I can't remember how many tests that they do, but they have to stand up in front of the examiner. An examiner will go to them, right, take me from this location to that location, and they'll go through it and tell them every road that they've turned down, and then if they don't pass it, they don't go through to the next stage. It's crazy. But so I started doing that, but then realised it was too much for what I wanted to do it, but it was just too much for me. Then what else did I do? Then after I worked as a courier, I then worked in the ambulance service, qualified as a paramedic.
Awesome.
Spent 5 years doing that. In the middle of that, I, at the same time as applying to be working in the ambulance service, I also applied to be in the police service. But what happened was they wanted to give us, they wanted 2,000 police officers to start before the Olympics back in 2012. But then, because of the recession, the police service had no money, so they cancelled all 2,000 officers that they were planning to start. So then I ended up being a volunteer police officer for a year while I was a paramedic. So I'd go out sort of twice a week for one of the police forces. Go out, I'd have all the same powers as a police officer, I just didn't get any money for it. So did you get like a tax reduction or something like that? You got your expenses paid driving to the police station and back, but that was it. You didn't get anything else. But that was what I wanted to do. Like, police officer was kind of what I wanted to do. But the more I did it, sort of like on the volunteer role, the more I realised, because I just had my eldest at the time, but the more I realised that it just wasn't possible, because like it made sense why so many police officers in England ended up divorced, because they just get, their personal life just gets trashed by the police force. Like, you have holiday days, but they can call you in, they can cancel any of your holiday days at any point, and you only have 7 protected days every year. So I was like say if me and the wife had arranged, I don't know, we was going to go away for the long weekend or something like that, and the day before, or just that morning, just as we were about to leave, I get a phone call to say that I've got to come in for the next 3 days. Like, that's not going to... There's no
work-life balance.
No, exactly. So it's like, I was like, as much as I want to be a police officer, I can't sort of put at risk my family for my own sort of what I want to do. So yeah, so after I left the ambulance service 6 years ago now, and now I work in banking for an American bank, actually.
Interesting. You've been a little bit everywhere, doing a little bit of everything. That's kind of life
Jack of all trades.
Yeah, kind of a life experiences. and things like that, and being able to pass it on to your kids and stuff. That's awesome. The some of the things that what are some of the things that you would tell somebody that, hey, you're new, or hey, I'm thinking about streaming, or hey, I want to become a streamer? What perfect example, what are you gonna tell your son on that first day of, hey, getting him prepped, getting him ready? What are some of the things that you want to tell him to be ready for? Because this is some of the things that you want to do. What are some of the things you're going to tell him up front? What streaming is like, what content creation is like, because everybody has a perception of this job or this career or content creation. You're just playing games. It's all games. It's all this. It's, all you do is you sit on your butt and you just play video games 24/7. It's not one for A, but what would you tell your son saying, hey, this is what I'm going to do with my life, or I'm going to get started in this industry? How do you prep somebody or a listener out there that's thinking about doing this? Like, what are some things to expect?
So I think one of the biggest things is, like, I'd say, and be organized is probably the biggest thing, because I am definitely not organized. Like, organized in what you do. Like, when are you going to be streaming? When are you going to be doing your video editing? When you're going to upload your edits to YouTube or TikTok or wherever it is that you're going to upload to. The other big thing is be yourself. Like, whatever happens, just be you. Like, don't try and be something that you're not, because it will end up hurting you and probably your mental health in the long run when you're trying to be something that you're not.
Mm-hmm.
And probably the last thing is play the games that you want to play. Like, just because, like, the buzz is of a certain game, if you don't like playing that game, don't play it. Play what you want to play, and your community will form around you. Don't play games that you're not happy playing with, because those people will come in for that game, and then if you're not enjoying it, they're not going to stay. If you're enjoying something, people will come and watch you play something. That's just the way I see it.
I mean, that is all great advice. The only other thing I would personally add on there is just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it and go into it with open hands and open eyes, because you're gonna learn so much. If I knew what I knew about streaming from when I first started today, it would be completely different. I wouldn't have gone through and struggled as much as I would. And don't be afraid to reach out to people. Yeah. Because you're going to need help. You're going to need those people in your corner. And don't burn bridges. This would be the last thing I would say to somebody, is don't burn bridges. Because you burn a bridge, then it's going to come back and bite you in the butt, because those people are important to you. And you're going to learn that, 100% learn that in this streaming industry. But so that is basically all I have. But Mr. Gman, I want to give you the floor. I want to give you the platform. I want to give you, if there's anything else you would like to say to anybody, to anyone, anything you want to get out there, I want to give you this moment in time. You could take as long as you want and just talk about anything you want. I want to give you the floor. Also, I want to give if you guys have any questions for Mr. Gman, go ahead and put it in chat real quick. I'm going to open up. This is something new that we started up probably like 4 episodes ago, is taking questions at the end. So if anybody has any questions for Mr. Gman, we're going to get those questions in real quick, but I want to give you the floor. I want to open it up to you to say whatever you want to say and get it out there.
I think, like, the only other thing I'd say is this. So all the streamers out there, content creators out there, sort of grinding, doing their thing, keep doing it, because just because your community hasn't found you yet doesn't mean that they won't. Like the way I look at it is like film types. Like there's a whole different types of genres that people enjoy. Like people enjoy comedies, horrors, the works. There is always going to be someone out there or a group of people out there that will enjoy the content that you're putting out there. And at some point they will eventually find them. It's just keep on plugging away, because it will happen.
So we got a question. I like it. What streamers / content creators, you kind of covered this a little bit, inspire you, or who do you look up to? I like this question.
Yeah, I like it as well. So, do you know what? I like all different types of content creators. And it depends on what I'm kind of looking for. Like, as you know, at the moment, I just play solely Warzone. So I'll stick to sort of like the Warzone content creators. So in terms of, like I said to you at the beginning, like the first content creator I ever saw was Thins, and I've kind of watched him since day one, and I sort of mod for him as well at the moment. And like I enjoy watching him because he's so smart in the way that he plays. Like he doesn't just use the same guns every time. He changes it up almost every stream. He openly accepts sort of challenges that, like, people say, "I'll use this gun, and he'll use it and see how he gets on." And I like that. Then there's people like, in terms of people with vibes, like Godku and Biohazard Wife. Like, I could sit and watch them all day because they just, like, their content, as much as like they're cracked in their own sort of various different ways, their content with their community is amazing to see. So like I could sit there, like Koo, I watch him all the time, and he just lifts people up. The same with Bio. They're all about sort of like lifting people up and sort of encouraging them and getting people to talk about what's going on. And I think that's amazing. And then Tawny level players, I say probably the one that I watch the most at the moment is Tommy. And again, he just seems really down to earth. Like when you sort of hear him talk, he takes the mick a lot out of people that he plays with and with his chat sometimes, but I think that's just British humour. But I think like when you watch him play and his breakdown of the game, like I think he's pretty good. Well, he's more than pretty good.
Oh yeah, he's won a couple tournaments lately, so he's fucking he's won some good amount of money.
Yeah, just a few.
So I got another. So you've kind of answered this before, but the number one question that Phoenix always has, and she wants to ask every single person I have on here, is how do you, because she struggles with this a lot, how do you balance your life and streaming at the same time? How do you balance family life? How do you balance streaming life? I know it's hard for you, but also like this is a question she wants to ask everybody. So she wants to get everybody's opinion.
So if it is difficult, it's probably one of the most difficult things, and especially with, like, I don't know what Phoenix's family, like, I mean, I've got a 9, a 4, and a 1 going on 2-year-old, and it's difficult, and a lot of the time it depends on, like, I went through a period of arranging co-streams and having to bow midstream because the baby was waking up teething, or having him sitting on my lap while trying to play, which was a bad idea. So it's so difficult. At the moment it's easier because he's sleeping well, but then I offset that by not sleeping well. Well, when I sleep well, but I don't sleep for long. I sleep like 3-4 hours at a time, and which isn't obviously great, and probably not great for my health either. But it's, at the moment, I'm comfortable doing it. Maybe next year I might not be. So it's a real sort of difficult one with the family, I think maybe if I needed more sleep, then I probably, what I'd have to do is probably say to my wife, look, on say a Tuesday and Thursday, I'm going to stream. I'm going to start my stream at 8:30. Is that okay if you look after the kids, like at that time, if they're up, and then sort of I finish at midnight at the latest, and then get a decent sort of 7 hours sleep, which isn't too bad.
Not at all. Not at all.
But, exactly. So yeah, it's just I think, like, depending on what your family life at home is like, it's just about communication really, and trying to work it so it works for everyone. And it's not always easy though.
So yeah, that's very true. It definitely changes, be a person. She has the 2 little ones, and she has a 2-year-old and a 7-year-old. So and it definitely is a balance of trying to figure out how to do it. For me, I have a dog and a cat, so I go home, I feed them, and I go ahead and get them set up, and then I can get on streaming at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So luckily I don't have that situation, but everyone's situation, like I said, is different for you, and it's just learning that balance.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest thing is, don't feel sorry for yourself, or don't feel sorry for your community if you miss a stream, because it's gonna be okay. The true ones understand. If you keep your community informed, they will understand.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I've said to so many people in the past before, like, if you're struggling, like, with your mental health, if you're tired, whatever reason, don't stream. Just take some time off. Take some time for you, because it is, like, content creating and streaming, it's tough. Like, it's demanding. Like, if I just want to play video games, it's completely different from streaming, because you're wanting to provide sort of entertainment for people. You want to provide interaction with people. Like if I'm just playing a game, I can just not say a word. I can play a game on my own and just mong out for 3 hours. Whereas if I'm streaming, I can't do that. I've got to interact. I've got to provide something that they want to stay and stick around for. And it's tough. And sometimes you do need to take that time out and just say, actually, I need to spend some time on me and get myself in a better place, or not even a better place, but I just need to spend some time on me and just treat myself. And like you say, like, the real ones in your community will understand that and go, oh, that's fine. Or they'll check up on you if you didn't say anything, and just check in, make sure everything's okay. And you can say, yeah, I'm just having the day off. And no one's going to say, I can't believe you're having the day off. And if they do, you don't want them in your community anyway. Like, there's so many people that, like, and again, for me, it's easier because I'm a part-time streamer. I'm not relying on the stream to generate me income. But if you're a full-time streamer, it might be different. But at the same time, even if you're a full-time streamer, if you work full-time and you need to take a day, like you're feeling unwell or whatever it is, you'll ring up your work and say, I'm going to have to take the day off because I don't feel great. It's the same with streaming. Like, if you have to take a day off, let people know you've got to take a day off because you don't feel well. And people aren't going to jump up and down and get all angry. Oh, I've subbed to you for a month. I can't believe you're taking a day off. Right. It's like if people are like that, just get them out of your community. Block them through.
100%. Get them out. Get them out. That's crazy. So I'm gonna end on this. I got one question for myself, and then the last question is, what Call of Duty did you start with?
Oh God, I have no idea. It was that long ago. What was the first Call of Duty? That one?
Oh, don't ask me.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I came to the Call of Duty game time late. I was a Halo guy. So
do you know what? You're gonna hate me for this. I've never played Halo.
What? Yo, Halo is the memories, man. Halo and then Destiny. I played Destiny every day for like 4 years straight. Every day. It was the game. Then Destiny 2 came out and it just ruined it.
I tell you what the game was for me when I was growing up. Metal Gear Solid.
Okay, PlayStation guy. So I didn't really have a PlayStation growing up. I had I just didn't. I was an Xbox guy. Xbox and Nintendo. So
that's fair enough.
So that's crazy. So my question is a little funny. I love the British accent. So don't give me crap. But can you give me 3 British like sayings? I just want to end the stream on 3 British sayings, whatever the most popular sayings is, because I just love them. I have a couple British friends I play with, and people. It's I love it. I like to give them a hard time too. So.
So I'm trying to think. I can give you some Cockney rhyming slang.
Okay, cool. Let's do it.
So Cockney rhyming slang. They used to. So this originated in the East End of London. So around trying to think, Bow Bells, which is you can look it up. That you had to live within hearing distance of Bow Bells, and you was classed as a Cockney. And Cockney rhyming slang is what they used to use to talk around the police. The police didn't understand what they were saying. So one of so there's dog and bone.
Okay.
Phone. So they would say, "Oh, I need to get on the dog and bone."
Okay.
And that would be, "I need to get on the phone."
Okay.
Trying to think what other ones are there. It's been so long since I've
had to talk about this or use the language.
Yeah, exactly. Use it like when I was younger in school, because when I was sort of growing up, I didn't live too far from the East End. So I'm trying to think now. Let me just.
Yeah, don't take time, man. Dog and Bones. Yeah, Dog and Bones is using the phone. I like that. I like that. This one's just a chat pleaser right here. This is what this one is.
All right, let's see what else there is. I think it's some of the so I mean this one you might be duck and dive. Duck and dive, hide.
Okay, hide. Duck and dive, hide. I like that. Duck and dive, Dog and Bones' phone. Duck and dive is hide.
What is here's one. Early hours.
Morning time?
Flowers.
Early flowers?
Early hours means flowers.
Means flowers.
Yeah, so flower buyers have to keep very early hours to buy their produce at the Covent Garden Market.
I like that. Early makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's very interesting that you guys came up with like its own dialect to get around the police around there. That's interesting.
Yeah. And then like as like people still make up rhymes. So like from an Indian you get a curry. And people quite often you say, "Oh, I'm gonna go and get a Ruby Murray." Okay. So like it's advanced from the originals, and sort of people use it, and people that aren't Cockneyed. Yep.
There's a lot of people saying that's neat. That's interesting. Someone goes, I would love early hours. So that's one of the things like in America, like if you go down south, it's like in the north we say we're going to go to the mall. Down south they say we're fixing to go to the mall. What the hell are you fixing at the mall? What are you fixing? Oh no, we're
Yeah,
just going
yeah.
to the mall. What do you mean? Then say you're going to the mall, not fixing. Or they say
mad.
that they be like, over y'all yonder. Over y'all yonder just means go over there.
Yeah.
What? So it just fascinates me with different sayings from different parts of the world and and stuff like that.
We have the same in England. Like as you go, sort of like different places up north, like they'll have different things. So say like I'll call it like, so I have breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Mm-hmm.
Up north, they'll have breakfast, tea, and supper.
They skip
And,
lunch.
like, but they don't. They're it's just the way they call it, and it's just like I find it so bizarre that you can live in the same country and speak so differently.
Yeah, that is true. It's crazy. It's like soda and pop, same thing in America.
Yeah.
Absolutely the same thing in America, soda and pop. Or depending on where you go, I want a Coke. It just means you want a soda. Well, what kind of soda do you want? I want a Coke.
Yeah.
Okay, but we have different flavors.
Yeah,
It just
Coke flavor.
yeah, like it's crazy to me. Okay, so one last thing I want to bring up. I tried your guys' version of Gatorade. It's amazing. The sports drinks that they drink on TV, the EPL, the such an L. It's just Gatorade, but it's your guys' version of it.
What Lucas said.
Yes.
Yeah, he is pretty fire. But then saying that, I quite like Gatorade. But then it's probably because I'm not used to it.
Dude, I went over. Side notes, when I went over there, I was like, yo, we can get a like a Lucasade for €1. In my head, I'm thinking like, that's amazing. But then I did after I got home from that vacation, I was like, bruh, the euro is way more than the damn dollar. So I was like, well, we got screwed, bro. We got screwed. But yeah, so but that's definitely interesting. I am so thankful for you for coming onto the show and introducing yourself and introducing some English culture, which is absolutely, and then introducing your story. And that's it was informative and exciting, and I enjoyed it. I quite enjoyed it, learning about everything. And once again, I want to say thank you so much. So, but yeah, all right, my man, I'll see you later, and thanks for joining. I really do appreciate it, man. Guys, I want to say thank you for another amazing. If you guys are watching on YouTube, just remember to do me a favor. Hit that like button. Go ahead and ring that bell. Woo-wee. And go ahead and subscribe to the channel. As you guys know, we will have more episodes pop like this. And I want to say thank you so much. Guys, that was, oh my God, it's Gman. You guys were amazing. He was amazing. Story is amazing. As always, chat, we like to end this with a little bit of a hug, a kiss, and a love. And I'll see you guys till next time.